Cancer rising. How you doing, Cancer? This is your reading for the Taurus full moon that happened on the 15th or 16th of November, depending on where you live. I am recording this after the event. I do apologize for the delay in getting these out. With that full moon, there was a lot going on, but I work with 6-month cycles, so the energies and the messages that come through in this reading are going to serve you up to the Taurus new moon next year. Hello and welcome. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology. And as you just heard, and as you can see, I channel multi-dimensional energies through my body, both in the form of physical and vocal light language. And all of this brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the messages that come through in this reading. So it's going to be going on throughout, and whether you're consciously aware of what those downloads are often doesn't really matter. It's connecting to your higher self and your more integrated consciousness. Right, so I read for the rising sign. So for those of you who don't have Cancer in the first house, look to the house that it does fall in your natal chart. Look to the themes of that house, and you want to apply those themes, as well as all the other meaning you've got going on in the sign of Cancer, to the messages that come through, right? I've got Cancer in the 12th, so I'd apply the themes of the 12th to what's going on as if it's like now moved to the first house. So you just got to apply those themes and meanings on top of it, because it is as if that Cancer energy, wherever it falls in your natal chart, has now energetically moved to the first house. So the astrology for the rising sign will always still link in. You've just got to add on your own natal chart meaning on top of it. So Cancer rising, therefore, where is this happening? Well, this is happening in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, friends, groups and alliances, and reaping the benefits from your 10th house, which is your life purpose, your career. Career doesn't have to be life purpose. And the 11th house is the house of good spirit. So this is quite a lovely moon to be happening in the 11th house. Very supportive of your Cancerian energy. Now, before I start breaking down the astrology for the rising sign, I'll just let you know what's going on with the tarot. There's going to be 4 different piles. The first pile, so full moons, they represent an element of completion, right? Of raising up and coming together, as well as a sense of illumination. But it's generally just like a closing out of an energy through that sense of culmination. Now, because we are existing in denser frequencies, and it is part of the evolutionary growth of our vessels, is to do a bit of shadow work, right? To work through some certain energies. There may be something you've been focusing on that you're like, oh, this feels a bit clunky, this energy just isn't in quite flow. I'm going to look to it, I'm going to tend to it. You may have also faced some obstacles, some difficulties over the last 6 months. And so pile 1 is what part of that energy is being closed out in relationship to that Taurus in your chart. So pile 1 is closing out some more difficult energy, and pile 2 is what's being integrated of the flip side of that, right? So what you've been elevating, what you've been integrating, and overall it can also be a little surprise from the universe of what's being integrated, right? And sort of locked into your vessel. So that's pile 2. Pile 3, as I said at the beginning, I work with 6-month cycles. So even though it's that full moon and it's a completion, we then get a download, which we then work with till the next Taurus new moon. So that the pile 3 is what download are you getting, what activation are you getting that you're then working with over the next 6 months. And pile 4 is what tools and tricks and intentions and energy and areas to focus on in order to amplify that. I will be also pulling some oracle cards from my 2 current favorite oracle decks at the moment. It's taken a lot for me to say that they're my favorite. I struggle with favoritism because I'm like, I don't want anyone left behind or anyone to feel like they're not loved. I'm a ridiculous human being. I'm also going to be pulling a couple of cards on what's going on with Uranus, which I'll expand into. You'll understand why when I break down the astrology, and what's going on with Saturn. So what kind of energy are they bringing to the table? So let's get into some sort of themes, overall themes with the 11th house of what might be coming to a head, what might be coming to illumination and completion with this full moon. So as I said, it's the house of good spirits. It's your hopes and dreams, friends, groups and alliances, as well as reaping the benefits from your 10th house. So that full moon I can definitely see as a releasing of blockages around being able to hope and dream in the truest vibrational frequency of your incarnation. Itala! Oh, just feeling my heart, chest area, the heart space. It's kind of just below the heart chakra and just above the solar plexus, like really stretching out, really opening up. That was quite a poof of an energy coming through there. And the flip side of that will be perhaps around that full moon, noticing some of your hopes or your dreams coming into the next stage of manifestation, if not complete. Friends, groups and alliances. So if you're struggling to be yourself around groups, around bigger connections, if perhaps you're feeling a bit disconnected from a larger social group or a larger engagement, that full moon can help clear out those kind of blockages around that, or at least certain stages of that for you to then work with over the next 6 months. As well as you may have found yourself with that full moon just being in a group or being around sort of more of a group mentality. You may have had a sudden encounter with a soul family member. Reaping the benefits from your 10th house. Now that doesn't just have to be money. That can be just a deeper sense of value in what it is that you bring to the table and how you're moving forward in the world, as well as sort of perhaps, getting recognition for the work that you do, that making you feel good, going on to the next stage. Maybe there's a bigger project that's come in that's because you've been putting in the hard work in regards to your career. You're now open up to bigger, more responsibility that's actually part of your soul's journey. You might just simply be getting some praise from a boss, as well as a deeper reaping on the spiritual, physical, mental, emotional level of your life path overall, and just feeling more embodied. So those are some themes that can come up, as well as wounds around and releasing of the limiting beliefs around being able to receive those benefits, right? So often actually it is the sense of a disconnect of being able to receive that blocks us from truly activating our manifestation power. So let's get into the astrology. This moon, I can say after the event. Oh, cool. I know what that first card was as well. After what just happened is a complete reset of my nervous system. Because this moon was conjunct Uranus. This moon was conjunct Uranus and a fixed star called Algol. Now, Algol is not really deemed to be the best of the fixed stars to get engaged with, right? To hang around with. But that's a traditional energy, and I'm so excited. I'm so glad that you haven't seen these cards yet. It gives me life when that happens. It's the big reveal. What was I saying? Right, that's a very traditional way of looking at Algol, right? So eclipses and fixed stars have been very prominent for thousands of years in various forms of astrology. Now, Algol is linked into the themes around Medusa, right, in Greek mythology. And she, if you don't know the mythology, she had her head cut off, right? And she could turn people to stone. So there's an element of losing one's head, right? The sense of disconnection. Itufala from things going on in the head. Ita from the body. Of things being very fixed, and it's ironic considering Taurus is a fixed sign, and sort of calcified. So there isn't the ability to evolve. As well as distorted narratives, because Medusa was deemed to be a monster, but there's a reason why she got to that space. Right? And so rather than denying the awareness of cause and effect, there's a pulling back of distortions, right? Of distorted narratives. And so with that moon, who is exalted in Taurus, it's the moon's favorite place to be. So, you know, it's all its qualities are raised up by Venus. Venus is supporting the needs and nourishment of the moon. So it's a really harmonious moon, but with sort of really big energy showing up, right? Because Uranus as well. Uranus is the path clearer, the breaker of chains. It is the liberator, right? It wants you. It wants you to be confident and comfortable being your unique self, walking your unique path, and it will often shake up your life if you're not able to do that yourself and really tap into that resonance. I speak from experience. Uranus blew up my entire life. Work, home, love, the whole thing. Completely uprooted all of it, and it was very sort of discombobulating and disruptive at the time, but everything turned out in the end. And I'm so much more within myself and in my body and happy. It blows my mind. So, as I said, Uranus wants you to walk your soul's path, right? And it doesn't want you to worry about what other people think. So that's really interesting in the 11th, because in the 11th, we can often get group conditioning, group think, where, you know, the outside influence, we're conditioned to be very tribal and conform. Uranus is doing and has been in Taurus for you for a while. So it's really allowing you to break out of that so you can understand how you're able to find your good spirits and how you hope and dream. So all of this combined, right? The major message that came through in the collective reading, forgot to mention that, right? Before I do any of the all 12 signs, I always do a collective reading, and that's where I break down the astrology in way more detail, right? In order to tap in the most integrative, expansive intention of this lunation. And so if you want a deeper understanding of this, I recommend pausing this, watching the collective reading and coming back to this, because it acts as a baseline for what's coming through, particularly in pile 3, right? I also did a collective tarot reading in there as well. So the overall main message that came through was with that algol of losing your head, of disconnecting from calcified ideologies, from distorted narratives that have meant that you have not been able to embody this incarnation in its fullest sense, from a place of abundance, creativity, love, pleasure, all of those Venusian qualities, because so much our mind gets in the way of our body feeling safe. So many previous situations then cause our physical senses, Taurus, our personal connection to the earth energy, from thinking that we're living in a worry state, right? In a worry environment, in a danger environment. Now I know for a lot of us that is legitimately how it's been showing up, but remember, we've incarnated into some denser frequencies. We are here, especially if you're tuning into sort of like light language and tarot and astrology, you're more forerunners, right? Your energies that have come from sort of more integrated frequency to come down on this planet, to embody that within us and bring heaven onto earth, right? And I'm using Christian terms just because it's easy, not because I have any inclination that way. Although everything has some quality to it that resonates. It's just a pity when a lot of those book religions start to foster hate. Sorry about that, guys. They just obviously not particularly happy about that. I don't blame them. But anyway, everything has its own path and own journey. Let's not get into that. There is a release of in regards to your hopes and your dreams, right? Your capacity to go beyond the limitations of what your body may be telling you of what's possible, of not being necessarily to fully integrate this feeling of feeling good into the 3D world, that then limits the way that you hope and dream, limits the way that you connect and receive with groups, how you are yourself with groups, how they are with you, and then reaping the benefits from your 10th house. So a lot of, similar to what I was saying about the themes in the beginning, a lot of distortions falling away, sudden moments, sudden eureka moments. Uranus is very inventive. It's one of the outer planets. It's more galactic energy. It's very breaking out of tradition. So you may have found around the full moon you being able to be yourself, like fully yourself in a way that you haven't been in the past, and being like, whoa, I really like how this feels. So yeah, that's the overall theme of this full moon is, again, like getting rid of things in the head that have blocked us from feeling good in our body, right? And then feeling good in where we're at and what we're doing. And Uranus is often linked into the nervous system because it's deemed to sort of be a higher octane of Mercury, and Mercury is how information is processed and exchanged, right? So Uranus can be very disruptive to the nervous system as well, right? Often with strong Uranus transits, drinking coffee around them, probably not the best idea because your nervous systems are already quite wired. Now, what this felt like in the Taurus energy with the moon, the balm of the moon in her exaltation, of your needs and your nourishment being soothed in the emotional body, and a heightened intuition that you know that you're capable of bringing in more downloads. Right, okay, let's carry on. We have the sun over in Scorpio, and this is your fifth house of your house of joy, your creation energy, and everything stems from that, by the way, right? Amusement, games, play, entertainment, pleasure principle doesn't just have to be about love, but it can, you know, we get fixated on that, but really the ideal is to find it in all things. Romance, dating, love, more short-term energy, as well as children, both literal children and figurative, such as your inner child. But it's your creation energy, right? And particularly Scorpio rules the sexual organs, so you've got to double down on that. But there's an intensity to Scorpio, there's a passion, there's a fertility, there's I don't mean that, fidelity. Fixed signs can be very, very, very loyal. That might be to themselves or to others. But there's a real sense of, with that sun in Scorpio, of having the vision and understanding of the real truth, right? All of these Scorpio transits that we've been having, as always, every year, helps us then really go into the darkness and upgrade our level of understanding of what the truth of reality really is, even if it might mean a little couple of stages of looking at things that we might normally have avoided or just found it a bit difficult or a bit too much. Whenever we get Scorpio season, that really facilitates our capacity to see the truth a little more clearly. And so there's something going on with the sun over in your fifth house of a deeper awareness of perhaps what might have been blocking your creativity, your pleasure, your love, right? what fixed emotional body it did, was still remaining, that needed to be released, that was limiting you in the way that you connect to all of those things. The other side of this in terms of a full moon is just having a lot of fun, a lot of creative fun in a group. Now, the sun and the moon, and obviously by default Uranus and Algol, we're all making harmonious aspects to Neptune over in Pisces and to Pluto and Ceres over in Capricorn. Now, this formation, so they're all making harmonious aspects, including Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Now, I talk about this energy in a lot more detail in the Pluto in Capricorn Oracle reading. Now, again, just in general, the astrology of that is wild. And I'll talk about it. I'm going to do another bigger lecture on that and then the next stage combined. Pluto is actually moving signs today. It's going to be about 9:30 p.m. here in London. So obviously different time zones. But it's moving into Aquarius for the final time. But that doesn't mean what came through in that Pluto and Capricorn Oracle reading isn't really important just to have an awareness of, particularly because it's been locked into the last couple of moons while it's been in Capricorn. So we're still going to feel that energy over the next 6 months until those close out. Now, in a nutshell, that Pluto, Neptune, Uranus energy and all of this is locked into this full moon. Pluto is reorientating our rooted power, our magnetism, to transform that energy into our capacity to work with reality that serves us for the long term. Capricorn, that reality is being, the veil is being pulled back with Neptune being retrograde, of that we do not live in a magical reality, that we do not live in a reality with a consciousness that has the capacity to bring miracles and abundance for everyone. We're just working through denser frequencies in order for our collective consciousness to catch up to that. A lot of you are already going to be ahead of the So that Neptune energy, right, our connection to source, they're very fluky, non-linear, non-rational energy of Pisces, of our capacity to have some faith and some trust in it, even if we can't see the logical direction of it, right? Because there's a lot of bigger stuff going on. And this is all in alignment with Uranus in Taurus, our personal connection to Earth, our incarnation of walking our soul's path with confidence, right? So reorientating our power to work with this magical reality in alignment with our soul's journey. So they're all in yin signs. They're in earth and water, Capricorn, Pisces, Taurus. Right? Yin is the great cultivator, the bed of creation, where we observe, where we bring nuance and depth to our existence, right? And we really allow things to digest and get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And then all of them, all three of these galactic planets, right? They're all the outer planets. They cannot be seen by the naked eye. Occasionally Uranus can. And that's why it often acts as a bridge along with Saturn and Chiron. But overall, this is longer term cycle planets, right? The whole Pluto-Neptune thing is one of the reasons why a lot of alien stuff's coming out at the moment. And I'm going to talk about in the Oracle reading what happened over the weekend with that full moon linked into aliens in the ocean when Saturn went direct in alignment with Uranus. I'm going to talk about that in the Oracle reading. That made me so excited. Whether it's true or not, who knows? It could be a bit massive psyop. But yeah, we'll see how that unfolds. Anyway, what was I saying? I just get so excited about all this. So they're all in yin signs. So that we're cultivating, we're observing, we're integrating this new collective consciousness. Because this, as I said, they're outer planets, longer cycles. This is linked into the big archetypal shifts in the collective consciousness, right? Allowing more openness, allowing us to have a little more trust and curiosity about things that are unfamiliar, things that are strange. And as I said, they're all next year going to be moving into yang signs. Ishali diala disha, where that's the activation of it, right? That's the taking it out in the world. That's the really being able to start to manifest with it after the cultivation period. So all of that yin energy is being embedded. And what they were actually forming, and I missed it, and I only caught it properly out loud in the Gemini reading. I mean, I touched on it in the collective, but not in so much detail. Is all of those things are forming what's called a cradle by the way that the aspects make lines on the chart. So there's an element of rebirth here, right? And certainly for the people that I've spoken to since this full moon, including myself, I feel like I've had a reboot. I felt horrible in the lead up to that moon, but I knew why. I knew what was going on. Anyway, so that's all locked in. So where is Capricorn for you? Capricorn is in your 7th house, and this is of one-to-one relationships, right? This is the important dynamics in your life, the one-on-one relationships in your life. This can be intimate friends, clients, business partners, your therapist, long-term committed romantic relationships, because it's linked into marriage, because the 7th house is to do with contracts, as well as source, like your relationship with source, showing up through Capricorn. So Ceres was there. Ceres is an asteroid, and she's coming into conjunction with Pluto, and these are both trining the moon, right? So that Pluto in the 7th, helping you work through some fears around commitment, intimacy, successful workings together with the other, fears over rejection, fears over dominance of the other, you being dominant, or just all of that would have been bubbling to the surface in the lead up to this full moon, as well as Ceres represents the grain mother, the earth mother, the harvest, the bounty, nutrients, nourishment, and like a real element of caretaking. As well as with that Pluto energy in the lead up to the full moon, because full moons often bring up triggers, is of not feeling safe, not feeling secure, not feeling that there are resources where you interact with the other, or the nourishment that you need. And all of that to build up to this real powerhouse because both of them represent resources. Pluto's more under the ground, and obviously Ceres is more linked into the food harvest, but there's still this sense of resources and transformation and abundance and caretaking over from the 7th into the 11th of your hopes and dreams, friends, groups and alliances, and reaping the benefits from your 10th house. Now, some of you, this may be about a heightened elevation of connection to source that's allowing you to feel more at ease, that is allowing you to be yourself more with the other, that may be linked into an elevation of being able to commit and a level of intimacy. When it comes to that, it could be in terms of your hopes and dreams, if that's the next stage you want to go into. It might be about a business partner coming through, right, in order to, again, facilitate those hopes and dreams, facilitate what you've been doing in terms of your career, or more clients coming in, Ishali, more resources of clients coming in. So you're then able to feel more comfortable on this planet, being able to hope and dream in different ways. And Neptune over in Pisces is a fellow water sign. It's up in your 9th house of your perspectives, right? How you map yourself out in the world, your morals, your ethics, your philosophies, book, religion, source, nature, science, whatever those matrix are that are bigger than you. Neptune is busy dissolving all the limiting beliefs that have stopped you from connecting to the true frequency of the way that you perceive the world. Ooh, okay. And obviously this is a moon cycle transit, and you are ruled by the moon, my lovely Cancers, so you're always being influenced by this. And I just want to say, I know I've repeated this a lot. Actually, no, I'll say it in a second when I actually bring the nodes in. So that's some big themes going on here, right? And so there's an alignment between your creative energy, your hopes and dreams, how the other may have impacted that. So limiting beliefs around that, around being able to give and receive, right? And that can often be a perspective, right, of that Piscean energy without having any boundaries, where everything's sort of dissolving in with one another, that there is this element of not having anything substantial to hold on to feel like you can receive things. Right, so we want to look to where Venus is, because Venus rules Taurus, and therefore she is influencing this lovely moon, although quite sudden changes, quite big shifts. Trust. If you've had something really dramatic going on, trust in Uranus. Please trust in Uranus. I know it may be difficult, but honestly, it will serve you in the long run. So Venus is hanging out with Pluto and Ceres over in the sign of Capricorn. Venus in the 7th, there's definitely more ease, more desire to connect, a sense of appreciation and value, and harmonizing the grace of Venus, the charm of Venus with the other, whether it's the other embodying those Venusian qualities, or you're finding that those relationships in your life are feeling a lot more easy, or highlighting where your desires may be misplaced. That can often be a way with Venus in the 7th. But overall, Venus really wants to elevate and bring a heightened level of creativity. So you could be getting downloads through source, through the way that you take care of yourself. Oh, I've just got to pause. My charger, not my charger, my speaker has just gone. Sorry about that, Cancer. It's all nicely charged up. So Venus over in the 7th is influencing this moon around your creativity and your hopes and your dreams. So it really is trying to just sort of smooth over wounds and elevate relationships in your life where you've got more space for creativity and pleasure. You've got more space to be able to be free, to be yourself and expand into your hopes and your dreams. Now, square the nodes in Aries and Libra, right? And so regulars, you know, I've touched on this before, but even though the nodes are in Aries and Libra, Cancer and Capricorn are kind of acting as the manifestation of the consequences of those eclipses. And the Cancer energy is where the South Node is happening. So, goodness me, the amount of Cancer risings I've spoken to who, when I've talked about this, they're like, oh, that makes sense. Like their whole nervous system sort of recalibrates and breathes a little bit. That you've been going through, and it won't happen for another 18 to 19 years. You've been going through a very deep recalibration and refinement of who you are, but you may have felt quite inward and quite isolated during the process. Now that's going to change in January when the nodes change signs, but I kind of wanted to bring it up with this lovely moon that's really supporting that journey. And so with that Venusian energy squaring the nodes over in Capricorn and your energy activating as the release point around your life purpose, where Aries is, and your home, your roots, your foundations. Libra is Venus is making sure relationships are in alignment with where you're headed in terms of your soul's evolutionary growth, in terms of the holistic life. And as I said, it might see some relationships in your life just sort of, you're not putting so much energy into them. It's not necessarily that you're letting go of them, but you're realizing now you're not quite getting the same nourishment and nurturing and energy that you used to, but that was based on trauma responses that was feeding off of the same kind of conflict and trauma we may have faced in early years. And now there's a more grounded, long-term planning energy. Okay, well, who do I want to interact with? How do I want to show up? How do I need people to show up in my life or situations? And being okay with not necessarily being of holding on so much in the same way. Fixed energy is very stubborn, and so I really love all of this moon and everything with it. It's helping release things that we're stubborn for no good reason. And I say that as someone who's, my chart is mostly fixed. And as I'm saying this, my third eye is getting a slight pain in it, so there's a release of energy there, of a deeper knowing that's coming in. Now Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is influencing Venus. And again, this moon was either happening on Venus's day, which is Friday, or Saturday, which is Saturn's day. So we've got this interlinking between Saturn and Venus, maturity around relationships, right? Around love, around pleasure, around creativity. And Saturn went direct on the day of this full moon, which is one of the reasons why I'm pulling some cards on it. So we are, everything that we've been working through over the summer, and this is in Pisces for you, again, around perspectives, right? And how you map yourself out in the world, how you share your perspectives, learning new things, restrictions around that, limitations. Sort of, you've been recalibrating your inner authority, your inner awareness of cause and effect over certain perspectives, and what works moving forwards and what is no longer serving you. Saturn is very mature. There is an element of responsibility, but it is all about your legacy and your commitment to it. And so now Saturn's moving direct and having a very powerful influence around you perceive the world that's serving you for the next 30 years, because that won't be until Saturn moves back into the sign of Pisces. Now, Pisces traditionally ruled by Jupiter, so we want to look to where Jupiter is. Because Jupiter is influencing this moon, and therefore influencing Saturn, and therefore influencing Venus, therefore influencing this moon. And Jupiter is over in the sign of Gemini, and Gemini for you is in your your resources. Gemini's in your 12th. I do apologize. This is the unconscious responses, the hidden realms. I've done a Jupiter and Gemini transit series, Cancer risings, really recommend it. You're not going to have Jupiter there for another 12 years. And it's going to be doing phenomenal work of the inner wisdom within yourself to work through more difficult unconscious responses, anxiety, depression, loss, grief, isolation, all of that good stuff. And underneath all of that is the magic of your soul, right? So Jupiter's really elevating, bringing things together, giving you a deeper sense of faith, of knowing. It's retrograde at the moment, so you're going to be questioning things more, but that serves the longer term integration and expansion. And so Jupiter is influencing this moon of good spirit. So again, as I said, things that have blocked you in your unconscious realm around really being able to hope and dream, really being able to receive. Jupiter's really helping with that, right? So it's the biggest yes planet. But Gemini ruled by Mercury. So where's Mercury? Over in Sagittarius. And so we have this what's called mutual reception, because Jupiter and Mercury are in each other's realms. Mercury's over in your 6th house of the adult in the room. Work, how you figure things out, the lens in which you do so, your physical health, routines, co-workers, and therefore collaboration, pets, and therefore acts of service. It is the adult in the room, and Mercury's there. Mercury's going to go retrograde before the Sagittarius new moon, which will be the next lunation. But so there's a real sense of higher perspective coming in, right? A real deepened wisdom around those unconscious spaces and the way that you work and put things together. So any blockages of being the adult in the room, of getting stuff done. And that all really facilitates hopes and dreams. That all really facilitates, as I said, releasing blockages and finding a deeper wisdom within your soul around being able to receive. That's going to allow more frequency space for you to build, which is really lovely. And there were mostly swords in the collective tarot reading, which isn't at all surprising given the Uranus algal energy, as well as Jupiter and Mercury, right? Which is often about, you know, the deeper knowing, the deeper truth, and the details and the information, and they're governing the rest of that bit of the chart, right? So it's all coming, even though it's a Venus moon, it's all coming back to Jupiter and Mercury. So really just being able to communicate more with co-workers, I can see that definitely being a thing. Really just getting more downloads and more information, and being very quick to integrate information in regards to the way that you work. Now, the sun is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is traditionally ruled by Mars. And so where's Mars? Well, Mars is over in the sign of Leo. So this is another mutual reception where we've got two celestial bodies in each other's realms, facilitating each other's journey. They're basically psychically hotline to each other. So whereas most of the chart is being governed by Jupiter and Mercury, we have the Leo and the Sun and Mars governing Aries, Scorpio, and Leo. So Mars is also going to go retrograde in the sign of Leo. So we're going to have 2 fire retrogrades coming up. And that is in your 2nd house, right? Of your skills and your tools, and how you manifest and bring in regular income. So the things that you value and how you value yourself. Now, the rest of it all relies on how you value yourself. So Mars in Leo, operating from the heart, very instinctive, wanting to bring a sense of joy and comfort and playfulness. But, you know, having Leo in the 2nd really does mean that you've got to operate from your heart in order to work with your skills and tools, and like really do some big heart opening energy around value. But let's go back to Mars and the Sun. So the Sun, the vision, the clarity, the animation, over in your creative energy. I can see over the next 6 months you getting a lot of downloads coming from a very creative place, to be able to elevate your skills and tools, so you can put things into practice, so you can work, right, and really facilitate your expansion. Right, let's get into the tarot. So what is being released? And this made me chuckle. We have the 8 of Swords and the 9 of Swords. So this is what's being closed out. It's a difficult chapter, right? So 8 of Swords, trapped in a cage of your own making. This card, I love it when it shows up. It highlights where we have been living in an illusion, right? And we're capable of getting out of it. So it really gives that sense of awareness to the ability to escape. But there is this sense of being caged in, of being restricted and limited by your own mind, or by something somebody said to you when you were very young. I mean, these things really get embedded by the ancestors, by past life energy, or your higher self that just needed to have you be blocked for a moment in order for you to really go deep in within and find a greater resource. So in regards to hopes and dreams, especially with the 9 of Swords, is like worrying about the things that you've done, worrying about what's going on, what happened in the past, freaking out and being in fear of the future, so therefore not being able to be present, not being able to find any good spirits, right? This is anxiety and cortisol ridden energy, as well as this sense of caged, trapped, stagnation. And it's all swords. So this is saying a lot of perspectives, a lot of the way that you're perceiving information in the world around you is being released away from this more sort of negative, caged energy. So linking back into hopes and dreams, right? And you know, reaping the benefits from your 10th house. Again, limits around being able to receive, being able to give, expansions around hoping and dreaming, worrying about how it's all going to turn out now. Regulars, you know, I've been banging on about this. I've just been getting it's been so loud in my own life that all the things that I think are going wrong, from the small scale to the big scale, are just simply facilitating. They're precognitive situations that are facilitating something that's going to happen in the future that serves me well. And it's helped me really get out of this space. And so I love that this is closing out, and it's that sense of awareness of, you know, whatever's going on around you is connected to source. It's going back to that trust and that faith of that everything is an act of abundance. Eat. What is being activated? Oh, speaking of abundance, hey Venus, 10 of Pentacles and the Empress. So rather than this caged, limiting belief structure, having gone through that, you've now activated this, right? 10 of Pentacles is being able to build for the long-term legacy. And so that's perfect for hopes and dreams. It's perfect for reaping the benefits from your 10th house, to let you know what you've been doing is serving you for the long term. Ooh, and with Venus, this is all creativity, joy, pleasure, fertility, creation energy, feeling good in the 3D world. You know, this is the Venusian energy. This could be about a relationship in your life that's feeling really abundant, really secure, and that's part of your hopes and dreams. However, it's reflected you finding more creative outlets and support and connection of working together with bigger groups in regards to your hopes and your dreams, as well as just big fertility energy of reaping the benefits from your 10th house. So there's this frequency that's being locked in around that, around the ability to receive that. Yala, I keep wanting to talk about giving and receiving. Itala. Probably because Aquarius is Pluto's moving into Aquarius today. That might be why this is coming through, and that's all going to be about transforming your capacity to give and receive. I am going to do a final Pluto and Aquarius transit as might not do. Sorry for that sound. That sounded a bit like a fart. Didn't mean to. It wasn't. It was me sort of being like a horse with my lips. That Pluto, yeah, I don't know when I'll get it done, but a final Pluto and Aquarius transit, and yeah, so in your 8th house. But there are other Pluto and Aquarius transits that I've done, so if you just want an overall picture of what that might look like, even if not all the messages that are coming through are going to be relevant to this particular part of it, that might give you some more information about why I'm talking about receiving. And I feel like this full moon is helping activate a cycle around the future unfolding of that. Okay, so what is being activated in this cycle? We have the 5 of Cups in reverse, and we have the Leo card. So the 5 of Cups in the upright is about grief. It's about looking at the 3 of Cups, of sense of flow, of being celebrated and celebrating others, a sense of abundance and play. And that is no more. And then we can get stuck in that energy when we forget that this isn't the 3 of Cups in reverse. This is the 5 of Cups, and there are the 2 of Cups there, representing a deeper sense of inner union, right? The sense of reciprocity around the emotional body, around creativity, around love. What I'm strongly getting is a release around a creative block that is allowing you to put that into action, Leo, around your skills and your tools, around the way that you value yourself. Because Mars is over in Leo. I mean, the Strength card is all about moving away from domination and operating on a place of vulnerability and working together with each other's vulnerabilities and strengths, right? That is the biggest strength, because neither of these figures are trying to take advantage of each other, even though they're both being very vulnerable, right? That lion has the vast capacity to sort of bite off the higher self's head, and the higher self has the vast capacity of just sort of snapping snapping that. I don't like where I'm going with this image. Let's not think about that. Anyway, you get what I'm saying, that it's through love and kindness that we really embody our strengths, and there's something around so this activation, let's go back to the hopes and dreams, friends, groups and alliances, and reaping the benefits from the 10th house, that you're moving into a stage of no longer holding on to the grief around those things not necessarily working out, and you're stepping more into your own value and your own skills and tools and your capacity to manifest. It's going to elevate those hopes and dreams, draw towards soul family that are less focused on the loss and more about the communion. And I can see a shift in perspective in your emotional body that's allowing your skills and tools to be more recognized, right, with reaping the benefits from the 10th house. And I believe the 5 of Cups is a Scorpio card. I think it's Mars in Scorpio. So that's bringing in that creation energy of the blocks there, and not having the fun and not playing and not the joy of it all. And these 2 cards are really saying, no, more joy is coming in. Doesn't mean you're not going to be doing the hard work, but more joy is coming in order for you to truly allow yourself to explore what you truly need and want. How to work with this energy. We have the Page of Swords and the Lovers. So we've got some Gemini energy showing up here in the 12th house. The Page of Swords is saying, it's interesting that's come up with that 5 of Cups in reverse, because the Page of Swords for me is a bit of a time traveler. Unlike the 9 of Swords, which gets trapped in this loop of not being present and being either externalized into the past or into the future, that the Page of Swords is able to look to the past while being embodied in the present but moving towards the future. It's able to utilize the wisdom of everything that you've learned and come up with a new perspective, come up with new ideas. So it is calling you to reflect on the truth of reality, because it's swords, so it's very objective of where you're at, right? Rather than the repeating of expectations of how things may turn out, right? The Page of Swords is saying, okay, what did you learn from that? What did you learn? And what do you want to bring with you into the future, right? So it's really calling you to reorientate your perspectives during this cycle with this upgrade, right? That's coming through, that's allowing you, because of what's come through with the activation, you're able to look at these things without falling into that grief pile, that grief card. Lots of inspiration. You might want to do some brainstorming or just clear your mind, maybe go for a walk. I always find the Page of Swords, that's how you get the downloads, is by going through a walk out in the world and getting downloads around the next steps of what you need to take and allowing a new energy to come in, right? Pages are very excitable. They've just got into the court. They want to talk to everyone and learn new things. So it is calling you to learn something that you may have been resisting. And the Lovers. So this is about Gemini, right? So this is the 12th house, the hidden house, the house of mysteries. And it's calling for integration, right? We can take the 12th house out of it. The Lovers in general is about integration, the masculine, feminine spirit, all in order so they make long-term right decisions. I'm feeling the Venusian energy as I think about that, in terms of, how moving through the 7th can reorientate how you desire and connect with the other and find love. So rather than seeking out trauma response dynamics, right? Seeking out things that serve you in the long term, you see that mountain in regards to Capricorn. And so this can really, again, a focus on integration and support rather than isolation and separation. And whether that be internally with source or with the people around your circumstances and views in the world. The Lovers showing up for that 11th house energy is like, try and find ways of falling in love with your life again, falling in love with whatever is going on, right? Whether things have started to manifest or not, whatever's going on, it's fall in love with your life, find those good spirits, right? And really allow yourself to live in that space with a knowing within you, with that Jupiter in the 12th, that things will unfold. That we're all a bit impatient, right? We're not not necessarily getting it in the way that we'd like it. So what was at the bottom of the deck when I finished pulling these 4 piles? We have the Page of Cups. So we've got 2 pages. And this is saying more downloads are coming in, more flow of your water energy. It's a Pisces card. And there's all more magic, more synchronicities, more opportunities coming up. But they're not rational. They're not linear. So it's really calling you to step out of this sort of rational, objective mindset and allow more surprises to come in that are beyond your expectations, beyond your rational mindset of how things are going to unfold. Right. What's Uranus up to? The Moon and the Queen of Cups. So some big water energy showing up for Uranus. This is Pisces, obviously, even though it can be linked into you, my lovely Cancers, because you're ruled by the Moon, but your card is actually the High Priestess and the Chariot. Anyway, the Moon for me is all about evolution of self, right? You see the wolf and the dog. They came from the same place, but they have different natures, but very similar in their liking. This is about the honouring of our instinctive and mammalian animal side, as well as that which has been tamed by society. When we get them to work together, we go up that path and climb that mountain and evolve, right? And really expand in the water body, right? Our needs being met, our nourishment, our heightened intuition and sensitivity and psychic ability. This is very water, very undulating, letting things happen, letting things unfold. I just think you're going to get some spidey senses and downloads, because the Queen of Cups is also very, very psychic. She can see far into the future, but she's not worried. In fact, she's so serene, she's turning into the ocean. She's really at peace with where she's at, right? Doesn't mean that she's not cultivating energy to serve her in the future and what may unfold, or not even doing anything. It's not about that. It's about this inner recalibration of your emotional body, so you are able to hope and dream in a way that serves you and serves the evolution of your soul, right? And it's going to be involving a lot less linear energy. Yeah, those cards, what I'm getting is just a real sense of trust. A real sense of trust in what's happening. And Uranus really... Okay, I'm also being called one of the things that I didn't pick up on fully in the collective reading, and I was told by the energies that I channel afterwards, like, yeah, you got it, most of it, but you missed this bit. And I was like, okay, cool. And that is that we're going to have a lot more activations that are unusual to the collective, right? That usually we might hide from society, that we might feel we might be mad or ostracized. And this may not resonate for all of you. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That there is a real sense of an activation around things that are going to be pushing us into bringing that energy into dynamics that we may not have felt so comfortable doing before. And it's not about forcing yourself to do it. It's not about forcing. If you're feeling resistance and it's not based on a trauma response, walk away. Like, they're not telling you to do that in those situations, but it is saying there's going to be more activations and a lot of support and protection when you find yourself in those sort of social dynamics that you may have hidden that from. And it doesn't have to be extreme. It could just be you have a different way of thinking about things, and you may have felt nervous about talking about, like in the bigger group, say for work. And now you're feeling more confident within yourself to speak more of these hunches. Right, what's Saturn doing over in Pisces? Well, we've got the 7 of Cups, and there's that 3 of Cups. Oh, we've got, this is my channeling card, by the way, but that doesn't have, we're all channelers and we're all intuitives. We just do it in our own special ways. But in regards to the 9th house and Saturn moving forwards, this is allowing your perspectives to expand beyond the previous paradigms, right? So there's a lot more possibilities for you to engage in, right? This is about big hopes and dreams. This is about the play, the sort of the expansion of the consciousness in what you might be considered a dreamlike state, or dreams and fantasies that are becoming more and more real. With that 3 of Cups is that union with your higher self, with your guides, feeling good on the 3D planet, right? Really coming into an alignment, finding the joy, finding the pleasure. And this all ties in with the astrology as well, with this moon, as well as that Saturn going direct. So I'm here for that. What's at the bottom of the deck after I pulled those cards? We've got the 6 of Wands. This is about victory. This is you having gone out and done a thing. There's now a sense of recognition and celebration. So that is really lovely in regards to just... So if those, you know, reaping the benefits from your 10th house of like going through a bit of a difficult time, of not feeling like you're being celebrated, getting that pay rise, whatever it is, there's a frequency coming in over the next 6 months of one, you feeling good about yourself and not necessarily needing to externalize that energy, because it's fire, and fire are all your work houses. But there's also a sense of reciprocity there. Right, let's do the oracle cards. So first up, we have First Breath, Beginner's Mind. Let's see what this wants to say. So this is a Shaman's Dream oracle, and all the decks are in the description box if any of them take your fancy. First breath, a fresh start and renewed curiosity, natural trust, beginner's mind. When the first breath card shows up for you, it's time to leave the old stories and tales behind. You have arrived. Take a deep breath and another. There is nothing else you need to do but take in the new world that is revealing itself around you. Trust your natural curiosity. That's the Jupiter energy in Gemini right now. There is no need to dwell on how difficult the journey has been or how tight the passage to get to where you are now. Just take it all in and experience the awe and wonder of your arrival at this destination. Even if it's a familiar place you have come to many times before, try to experience it as if for the first time, for you are renewed and the old you is no longer your concern. Practice the beginner's mind, not labeling or naming what you see and experience. That situation that was so difficult only a few days ago, just be with it and breathe. You have already gone beyond it, have overcome and resolved it, even if no one else realizes this yet. Soon enough they will as you move on. Do not squander the power of first breath, giving the old narrative mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Use it for new beginnings to animate a world you can play and create in. Do not underestimate the power of your breath and the magic of the word. Well, that just summed up everything. Oh, I love it when the oracle cards do that. I genuinely don't really have anything to add to that. That was just literally ticking all these boxes. You never get there and you never stay here. You are never in the past or in the future. Your awareness perpetually resides in the now. Stop yearning and appreciate the infinite magic of the eternal presence. Could these cards sum up that entire reading so utterly succinctly? Well, Cancer, I'm going to leave it at that. Take a breath, let it go, see where your curiosity takes you, trust in the unfolding, get yourself present, feel your body from a place of creation energy, find the curiosity and the dreams and the imagination, allow your intuition to guide you and open up some doorways to new possibilities, new miracles coming in. Well, Cancer, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I certainly did. It's always an honor and a privilege to read for you. If you did resonate, if you liked the reading, hit that like button. It brings me a lot of joy. If you want a personal reading, my details are everywhere. But other than that, Cancer, be good to yourselves. Be good to those around you. Safe travels and be well until we meet again.